So as I promised in my previous Bleach video, the chapter reviews of 676 and 677, the King of Lightning is here today, giving you guys and gals my thoughts on what Ichigo's Bankai is going to be, and we're going to see in 2 days' time. My expectations, my hopes, and so on and so forth. I have a few notes here, and I have basically 4 major points, and then we'll call it a video. So this video should be, those are key words, should be relatively quick by my standards. So I'm gonna dive right into it, and of course once the video is over, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the matter at hand, and then we'll see in 2 days' time. So first of all, it could be the same type of Bankai that we've seen in the past, small and speed oriented. Now this I think is a very obvious outcome, a little bit too obvious, and I mean it's been the case every time Ichigo has had a new Bankai or a Zanpakuto modification, where his Bankai is still the small, speed-oriented Bankai. And that's something that I think Kubo is going to change this time around. Because now he has 2 swords. He's going Nitoryu. He has, again, the Arankar Shinigami Zanpakuto, and then he has the Quincy Hunting Knife. So I'm hoping, or at least I honestly believe that this time around he's going to change it up. However, he could keep it the same old, and it's the small, slender sword that is speed-oriented. That's number 1. Number 2 is Old Man Zangetsu. So we're going to start here. Old Man Zangetsu used Ichigo's hollow powers every time he taught Ichigo the aspects of his Zanpakuto. Therefore, Ichigo's Bankai could have a very similar appearance to White. Now, this is more so tailored to the appearance, but this also may lead to some aspects of his power as well. But what I said there is 100% true. Zangetsu, Old Man Zangetsu, the Quincy powers inside Ichigo, admitted that every time Ichigo was learning the Zanpakuto powers, he had to utilize the hollow inside Ichigo, because the hollow and the Shinigami powers in Ichigo are one and the same. So when you take that into consideration, when you look at White, I'll show you a picture right here on the side. You see White, he has those 2 forearms are like blades. So that'll kind of coincide with Ichigo's current combat scheme, where he has 2 swords. So White has 2 arm blades. When you look at White's appearance, he has like those shoulder pads. So I'm thinking that Ichigo actually may get some type of armor if he goes into his Bankai state. That would be pretty cool. Like the second horn activated too. That would be pretty damn cool. And that was like his Bankai form. Another thing I want to point out, it's not necessarily tied to the power of Ichigo's Bankai, but it ties more so to the origins. Because we know that Aizen created White by taking many Shinigami souls and then converting those souls into hollow souls. So I have to wonder, what were these original souls that Aizen used to create White? There is a possibility that the base souls that compromise White's soul, which is combined with Ichigo's Shinigami powers that he got from his father Ishin Shiba, well, there is a chance that maybe those base souls, the original Shinigami souls, because remember, when Ishin was fighting against White, Ishin did state that he seemed to be fighting a Shinigami as opposed to fighting a hollow. So there's a chance that there is a melding or some of the aspects of the original souls that comprise White souls will now come forward in Ichigo's Bankai. That's possible, but these souls, we don't know who they are. So even if that was the case, we won't find out until Ichigo uses the Bankai, and then he somehow found out that these aspects came from these Shinigami that comprised the White soul, that made up White. Now, another aspect of this, when it comes from a power or skill standpoint, could be, and it's not really like beneficial for Ichigo, but he could have a self-destruct feature. Would be kind of crazy. But White, after he'd been to Masaki Kurosaki, and then she did the arrow attack to his head, and then he got blown apart, at that point in time, White detonated himself. So, yeah, like that could be a thing, but like why? Like it's kind of productive to blow yourself up. This could be incorporated where maybe Ichigo has certain attacks that are like, let's say, timer based, where he can fire off some kind of wave, and then that wave after a period of time would detonate itself. So I mean, I'm basing that simply on White's ability to self-destruct, where there is a detonation there, and Ichigo may be able to actually utilize that in his Bankai in the form of an attack where you can fire a wave and the wave explodes after a few seconds. Something like that. That'd be kind of cool. Because, listen, I do want Ichigo to have new moves. Yes, he may have a new beastly appearance. I mean, again, he could have that whole white thing going on. However, I also want to see some new moves. So, yes. We got Sero. We got Grand Ray Sero. Excellent. All right? Let's keep the gravy train flowing. Let's not cut it short. Please. It's end of series. Kubo, make it happen. So all of that was point number 2 when it comes to white. Now let's talk about point number 3, which is his father, Isshin Shiba. And because he is part of the Shiba family, I kind of took into consideration maybe his powers would be based more so on the Shiba family powers. Now, we have seen Kukaku fight, not really with the Zanpakuto, but she does know Kido and whatnot, but we can't really base Zanpakuto-based powers on her because, again, she never really used a Zanpakuto. Now, after her, there is Ganju, and, I mean, like, what can you really do there with Ganju? Ganju, he's been through some type of training, so maybe he has a Zanpakuto now. I mean, I highly doubt it. And he could utilize walls and then turn into sand and whatnot, but I honestly believe that Ganju is not one of the folks in the Shiba clan that we should be looking at when it comes to what Ichigo's Bankai may be. So then we go to 2 guys, Cayenne Shiba, who looks like Ichigo in, I mean, they're practical twins. It's ridiculous. And then you have his father, Isshin Shiba. So those 2, okay, this is the stretch here. They have elemental-oriented base Shikai. And it's a stretch because Isshin is not really fire-based. Even though he has Burn Engetsu for the chant to initiate his Shikai, it's not really fire. It's more so like intense Reiatsu that is constantly covering his blade. But the initiation of that is burn. And then when it comes to Cayenne, Nejibana was water-based. It could manipulate and produce water. Maybe there's a chance that Ichigo's Bankai could manipulate some form of an element in that way. But again, the problems come with Isshin, where Isshin, his Engetsu, didn't really like burn fire. As far as I know, it was more so like intense condensed Reiatsu. So, I mean, that's what I understand, but I could be wrong. It could actually be fire. But from what I saw, I don't think it is fire. I mean, either way, the chant was burn. And then when it comes to Nejibana, it's water-based. So there is a chance that he could also utilize some type of element. And then if you kind of want to, if you kind of want to look at Ganju, since he can make walls in the sand, and if you want to throw in sand as like some type of like earth-based element, then and Kukaku did use a lot of lightning-based Kido, so you see, but like you see how I'm reaching, right? Like you see how King right now, he's reaching for the stars and other galaxies right now when it comes to those 2 in particular. But there is a possibility that that could be the case, where the Shiba clan, they have certain affinities towards certain elements. So water, fire, earth, lightning, wind, that kind of stuff. Possible. But possible. Alright. So finally we get to the last point. Point number 4. And point number 4, simply put, is going to be a combination of everything. So it is his Shinigami powers that are already combined with his Hollow powers that also could combine with his Quincy powers. So let's say he can take the 2 swords, combine them together. He has the one side white, the one side black. They transform in some unique way. Then he has, what are they called? I forgot what they're called. But it's like those spears that have like 2 blades on like each side. You know, maybe not a spear, but it's like the same thing, or it's of the same ilk, but only with a sword. Or swords, I should say. Like, okay, what's his name? You know, like Tao Tao's son in Dynasty Warriors, Tao P. Like that thing, all right? Like whatever that is, okay? Like the 2 swords that stick together, that's what I'm talking about. And his Bankai could be like that in some way, shape, or form. One side Quincy-oriented, the other side Shinigami/Hollow side. And I say this because when you look at Bleach for the majority of the series, the person who has been training Ichigo, the person who the majority of his powers focused from, were the Quincy. It was Old Man Zangetsu that was the orchestrator. It was Old Man Zangetsu that was necessary for him to actually utilize Bankai. So I don't know if Ichigo could actually just learn a Bankai straight up from his Hollow, from his Shinigami/Hollow side, because you had Urahara teach him a method to actually learn Bankai, And it was Old Man Zangetsu who came out. It wasn't the hollow one, it was Old Man Zangetsu. What I'm guessing here is that because he's always been like the front man for Ichigo's Bankai, that may not change now because that's already been established between Ichigo and Old Man Zangetsu. Whereas when it comes to the hollow, that's something that has to grow. That's not something that has been like established fully yet. So that's what I'm thinking. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am done. Give me your thoughts on what you think the Bankai is going to be. We're going to find out in 2 days' time. I could have more points, but I think my other ideas are a little more far-fetched, so I kind of avoided them. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. King Lightning, be sure to, of course, rate the video, comment, and subscribe as always. Peace. Have a nice goddamn day. And let me know what you think on the matter at hand. Let me add this addendum to the video. Kubo could make the Mugetsu Ichigo his Bankai. He really could do that. That would be kind of crazy. But the Mugetsu Ichigo is, as far as I know, Ichigo's like most powerful state. And then on top of that, it appeared to be like his truest form after learning the true nature of his Zanpakuto after training with Old Man Zangetsu, or at the time like kid Zangetsu or teenager Zangetsu. So he could have that form in his Bankai now. That's also possible, but we'll have to wait and see in 2 days' time. So once again, I'm done. So King of Lightning, rate the video, comment, subscribe. Have a nice goddamn day.